Hey everybody, it's Aquila, and this is a Lefty and Their podcast here on the YouTubes. This is episode 192. That's my kitty cat, Bud. He's an old man. If you can hear that, that's my washing machine that I thought I balanced and had all the stuff in there, and now I'm trying to respin it again. I hate doing blankets. Does anybody else hate doing blankets? I hate washing blankets. Comforters, blankets, etc. Okay, this is a knitting podcast. Today is already Thursday, January 26th. My mom's birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Mom! Don't know if she actually watches. I think she does sometimes, but don't know. So this is a podcast about all the crafty things I'm getting into. I'm trying to do 2 videos a week. One which is my knitting content, and one which is a video on my CSM or my circular sock machine, circular knitting machine, whatever you would like to call it. I have an Erlbacher Gearhart Speedster and I love it so much. I do. I love creating on it. All right, so I have something to show you guys. I knit this I cast on Saturday and I finished. It wasn't even yesterday. Was it the day before? Like, it's insane. I had a lot of knitting time. I had a lot of knitting time on Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember what day. And I got a lot done on this. I showed you guys that I had gotten through the lace. And I didn't fix that spot. Because you know what? Not going to. I had Hayes try it on the other day. And okay, she's 7, right? 7. I'm like, here, try this on. She didn't really want to try it on. And I was like, oh, here, this is already a bad start, right? She had no enthusiasm. She tries it on, and I was like, oh, it looks so cute, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay. I didn't ask for it. I'm like, ooh, kid, okay. All right. I told her, I was like, well, I still have to block it and, weave the ends in. And she's like, no reaction. And then about 10 minutes later, she comes in my room and she goes, I think I'm going to need you to have that done so I can wear it to school this week. That made me feel a little bit better, but I'm like, okay, kids' reactions are either like non-existent or over dramatic. I don't even know anymore. I really thought she was gonna be like, I love this so much, and I didn't get that reaction, so it was a little disappointing. So this is the love note. I had to take it off the board, but I wanted to show you guys. So this is the love note. This is by Tincanknits. If you know anything about Tincanknits patterns, they have many that are free, they have some that are paid for, and then they have quite a few that I think all of their patterns are like super size inclusive, like from newborn to like 5XL, maybe even more than that. I'm not sure. I used yarn from Colorway mixed with an alpaca reserve that is it's discontinued with our Knit Picks, and I held them 2 together. And then there's a grayish pink purple in here that is Urban Girl Yarns, held together with the floof base from Fibernymphdyeworks in the soot colorway. I love this so super much. And this was kind of like a test to see if I wanted to make one for myself. Well, I do. I don't have any alpaca, but I might just hold regular yarn together. I don't think it has to, like, so many people commented that they've made these. They've made them for grandkids. They've made them for themselves. I've seen them on all over the place, and you don't have to hold it with like a fluffy yarn. You can just do a DK weight, or you can do 2 yarns held together. So I'm going to look through my stash and see, because I am trying to use my stash. That is what is happening this year. A striped love note. Like holding a striped yarn. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe just in not the lace portion. I don't know. I'm just I'm just thinking of all my yarns that I have and what I could do with them. So yeah, I thought this turned out really great. I only actually blocked the lace portion, and I did it by pinning it, wetting it, pinning it, and using a blow dryer to dry it, because I knew I wanted to, not fully dry, but a lot. I want to weave in all these ends because I want her to be able to wear it tomorrow. Today was art, and I was like, Thursday might not be a good day, so we're going to do it for tomorrow, which is music. So I feel much better about her wearing this to school on a day that's not going to have paint involved. Just saying. Yeah, so that's what I've been working on. I have also been working, I just worked a little on my Scrappy Hat. Oh, I have one more thing. Pause. While I was up, I grabbed the Scrappy Hat too. And I'll show you that real quick. These I showed in the last episode of yarns that I just had scraps of, and they're like a heavier weight, both worsted, I believe. So I'm just making hats that I can like donate. Or if somebody in my family wants a hat, they can have a hat. So that's that plan. I had bought a bunch of yarn from Knotty Lady Yarns, which is now closed. They were in Oregon. Andi the Knittress worked there. Now she has her own online shop, so I'll link down below for you to check her out. She's trying to get enough money so she can open a brick and mortar in her town, because the knitting community lost that space. So now there's room for more to have that space again, and people, it's a good thing to have if you have a great shop near you that you can go and feel welcome and learn new knitters, advanced knitters. It's just a great community setting, so go check her out, buy some stuff. But I had bought this yarn from there when they were going out of business, and I got it like, I got a sweater's quantity, and I can't remember the sweater name. I'll try to insert a picture here of the sweater. It's a cardigan. I wanted to buy enough to make, I bought John's yarn. I bought sweater yarn for my pullover, my slipover. That I knit already. John's sweater I knit already. This is the last yarn and sweater quantities that I bought. And this is next on the agenda. So it is, and Andi, thank you. She purchased the pattern for me in my Ravelry library. These are Trendsetter yarns, and this is the Union base. And this is considered an Aran weight yarn. It is 50% recycled merino and 40% recycled acrylic, which that's pretty cool if you ask me. It is 110 yards for 50 grams. So it calls for a size 8 needle. The pattern called for a 10.5. I can't remember the gauge that I'm supposed to be getting. It's like 15 stitches for 4 inches. And I'm like, I'm getting like 14 and a half with the 10.5 needle that it called for. So I now switched to a size 10, and I did more. I have this swatch here. I just was reading, like, I'm not the best swatcher, and I'm not one of those people that goes around saying swatches lie either, because I know I'm not doing the swatch correctly. You need to really do your swatch. Like, if I can remember the Instagram account, the woman who was talking about it, it's the woman who wrote the book about the sweaters for me, size for me. Oh, what is that? I'm terrible with names, and I've mentioned this before. She talks about how you can't say that a swatch is lying if you're not doing a proper swatch, and that's true. You have to do a proper swatch. Now, when I cast on, if it says 15 stitches for 4 inches, I cast on double that. And then I do try to cast on them, or knit the number of rows it also calls for, so I'm getting a decent sized swatch. I think she posted just recently on a Instagram story about your swatch should be like pretty large. You need to, and then you can't just leave it on the needle, which I do a lot, and swatch and wet it and block it and do all that. You have to do it properly. So I'm not doing it quite properly. I think I do enough, and I do okay with, you know, I'm not sitting here complaining either. So just saying. This was down here with the 10.5 US needle, and up here is with the 10. I don't see much of a difference, honestly. And it's gonna be a super warm sweater, even though it looks like you can see through it a lot. But I'm getting 15 stitches up in this section, because what I do is I take and I measure in multiple places across my swatch. And you shouldn't just put it down once and measure. You should be putting it multiple times and measuring and making sure. So I can tell here visually, I can see that the stitches look small, a little bit smaller and closer together. It's really hard to tell on camera, but this is going to be my next sweater. So I am super excited for a cardigan in my wardrobe. I think this color is good for me. I mean, my mama always told me I looked good in red. I mean, this isn't quite red, but you know, moms tell us lots of things. Super excited for this. So this is going to be one of my next projects. I also plan another love note for one of Hazel's little friends, and I'm going to be working on that. But I have to get floofy stuff for that, and then find some yarns in my stash. And I want to ask her before I make it. I think letting kids have the ability to pick is great, instead of, like, Hazel didn't want to pick, so I just did it. But I think there's other kids, there are kids, and Hayes is one of them too. She would probably much rather pick if it was something we were buying in a store. She'd want to have a say in it. So I'm going to have, we'll call her V. I want to have V over and let her look at a few skeins that I pull out and let her pick. Because I think that would be fun. And then, or possibly taking her and her mom to the yarn store and doing some shopping. I would like to use out of my stash, but again, I just think it would be fun to take her. I think she would really enjoy the yarn store. She is such a cute little kid, I swear. All right, so that's what I have to show you guys. Since it's already Thursday, I will hopefully have this and get some video of Hayes. And I have some B-roll that I probably could have put in at some point, and of this blocking, but maybe it'll be after this. I don't know. Yeah, that's where we are. So, all right, I have to do some stuff around the house, and I'll talk to you guys in the next clip. We didn't even brush her hair. That's okay. You know what? Real life. All right, Hazel is wearing her love note, and I asked her to style it for me. So what did you do, Hayes?
I put on my black bell bottoms.
Yeah.
I love these. I love these.
Yeah.
These.
Okay, stand still and stop shaking the camera so people can see the sweater. Oh man. And what else did you put on? So you put on a tank top?
Tank top. And
then you put on the
love note.
The love note.
The love note sweater.
You're shaking everything. By Tincanknits. Go do a close-up so people can see it. Super cute. Do you love it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's really cute.
Right. Do you think I should make V one? Yeah.
Why did you say V?
I don't want to say her name on the podcast, so I just used V. Well, I'm glad you like it. Would you like other sweaters?
I want this, but like with blue.
With blue?
Like
the same sweater?
Blue. Yeah, but like this is blue and this is like pink.
Well, you have other yarns, so you can pick some stuff. How about that? Do you want the lace in it again, or do you want it just knit without the lace?
The lace.
You like the lace?
But I want it to be like a blue with another color and like another color.
Okay, well, we can figure that out. No. What are you doing?
On the side.
No, it's okay. All right, so this is Hazel, and this is the Love Note by Tincanknits, and this is in the size 8 to 10, and it fits very good. I love it.
And Mommy made it a belly shirt for me.
Crop tops.
Belly shirt, crop top, same thing.
Yeah. All right, say bye.
Bye.
It's Friday. It's my mom's birthday, 1/27, January 27th. So I would have already inserted the picture of Hazel in her sweater, but I'm going to show you guys without her wearing it, only because I know she was a little jumping around, she was dancing, she was being silly, but that is her, and I appreciate it, and she was really sad that it was actually pajama day today, because she would have loved to have worn her sweater. I said, you can. She's like, but it's pajama day, and I was like, fine, it's fine. So let me just show you guys, because this is it. It's done until I get like pictures of her in it. Then you'll see it maybe on Instagram. And of course you have already heard her say and express that she would like more, which makes me happy. I think it turned out just super cute. It's super duper cute. It's so soft. Yeah, so that's done. Finished object. Yay! I've also been marking, I think I mentioned this on Ravelry, I've been marking my finished objects with the tag 2023, so I can track my year. And then I've been tagging all my cranked objects with the word cranked, because I would like to have a distinguished number between items, like a full number, say it's 50, and then 20 of them were cranked items. So I want to have that distinction. Let me grab a sock blocker real quick, because I cranked I cranked this sock as sorry, notification. I cranked this sock as part of a video series. Yeah, I think I might just label the one blooper, and it's not even really a blooper. I don't know what to call it. But I also think people should see that I've been working on these on my machine. I've had it since the pandemic. It came when we were in the middle of the pandemic, and right at the beginning. So I've had it for, say, 2 years, at least a solid 2 years, right? So I am no expert by any means, and I'm still going to make lots of mistakes, and I'm still going to experiment and try things, and they're not going to go the way I hope them to or expect them to, or the way that will work in a sense that I'm doing it on the machine. With that all being said, I cranked this sock. I need to crank the other one. The first one I cranked with this yarn, I made the foot way too long. So I did now take it out, and I am worried. So let me tell you about it first. Okay, so let me put it on the sock blocker. I am using my 48 stitch cylinder, and I'm using 2 fingering weight yarns held together, because you can use a DK weight and a worsted weight on the smaller cylinders, the smaller amount of needles. So I held a Zauber ball with a solid green. The solid green was from my recalibrate top, the darker, like, you can't really tell, this green. So in some spots you can tell where the one color was more dominant on the outside and the Zauber ball was more dominant on most of the sock, which is what I was hoping for, but I love it. Now I did, when I ripped out that other sock, so I did a scalloped edge on this. Excuse my cat. Excuse you. You ruined the video when I was making this. Thank you. Talking to you. I did a scalloped hung hem, and the other sock I was going to try to do a faux rib, which means you take every other cylinder needle out to make it a purl stitch. That didn't work out for the hung hem part. It was just way loosey-goosey, and I didn't like where it was going. I will probably try it again off camera, but it definitely wasn't what I thought it was going to look. It wasn't what I was looking for in the finished object. So I did rip it back out, and let me tell you though that it was real hard. Like I cranked it from 2 separate cones when I cranked it. And now this is the sock I frogged is all on one cone held together. And I've heard people have horror stories of like, I'm gonna knit this sweater holding 2 strands together, and then they wind them together. But then when they're knitting with them, one strand gets a lot of slack in it and the other one doesn't. And I'm really worried about that happening on my machine. We'll have to see. I'm not sure how this is gonna go, because it was doing that as I was as I was frogging it and putting it on the cone. So it might do that as I go to recrank it. Either way, this is one. I have one done. I just think it looks really cool. I love the 2 yarns held together. I think it just is really interesting. So stay tuned for videos for, it'll be 2 videos, 2 separate videos. One is a complete failure and it's going to be shorter. The other one is longer because I make this whole sock, but there are definitely some parts where I think I'm not going to make it through. And I'm going to have to not trash the project, but restart. That is the one nice thing about restarting on the machine. If you're not doing something like overly hard on it, it's quick to restart it. I mean, if it still takes you like 5 hours to make a sock, that's way less than hand knitting in general. Do you want to see the monster who has been causing all the problems? Psst, come here. This one. This is the monster. If you're new here, this is Luna. Luna Tuna. Luna Tuna. And she is a tripod kitty. See? She's missing a leg. She's a great cat, but she has been a terror the last 2 days. Like, I don't know if she's just like mad at us, whatever's going on, I don't know. All right, until tomorrow, I've been working on my crochet granny stripe blanket, and I was holding it up yesterday where it was touching the ground, and it's like up to here. I think I'm going to be kind of done with it. I made a magic ball with a bunch of my tiny scraps, and all my bigger scraps I left because I'm going to make monster socks. That is another thing I'm thinking of offering in the shop, is you send me bags of smaller scraps, say nothing way small, like at least 5 grams, and I can crank you monster sock tubes. I don't know. Is that something people would want? Like all those little scraps that they just don't know what to do with? Like some people aren't scrap yarn knitters. Like they'll give their scraps away to other people, or they trash them and that's really sad. Or they sit around and you really don't know what to do with them. That's my idea. I've made a lot of scrappy socks and I love making them on my machine. So that's going to be a video I do on showing the Russian join on the machine. So, all right. I need to finish this day. It's already been a long one. It's been a long one. All right. Till then, bye. All right, let's round up this episode. And it is Saturday, January 28th. I finished that sock fully. And I'll show you guys the one I was cranking with the 2 yarns held together. It's pretty cool. I was not sure how it was really going to work. I'm not sure if I want to make a lot more socks this way, because I feel like if the one yarn isn't the dominant yarn, then you lose the whole point of it. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I'm going with that, but this was a fun experiment. So this was the first sock I showed you guys with the scalloped edge. Now I finished the second sock. So the second sock looks a little bit different. Oh, I wish I'll take this off of the sock blocker. It's the wrong size, but that way I can hold them up together. So I had cranked the first sock and the foot was way too long. Man, did I talk about this? No. I don't know. Okay. I'll edit it out if I did. The first sock that I cranked, the foot was way too long. I ripped it out. When I ripped it out, I put it back on the cone, both yarns held together. And when that happened, some of the other, like the yarn twisted upon itself some. Not twisted, but so the colors that were dominant mostly in this one, the other color showed through more in this one. And I think it's because I had it already together and I had to put it back on a cone, and I put it back together on the cone, where this one, the two yarns were held separately on two different cones. This was like it was one yarn just being pulled off the cone. So these are done. I think they're really still pretty neat looking, and yeah, I think the recipient will enjoy them. So socks. I should do that, right? Although I think Hazel's sweater might be the snapshot. I don't know. I never know until I'm editing. The other thing that I told you I was working on was my Scrappy crochet blanket. So every time I have scraps, I put them in this bucket. And I've had this blanket on the go, not on the go, but I've had it cast on for like 4 years, maybe longer. It's like the Attic 24 granny stripe blanket formula. I don't remember how many I cast on. I might have that in my Ravelry notes. It'll be linked down below because I'm going to try to take pictures of it and have it as a finished object because it's finished. I used my Tulip 3.5 millimeter E4 hook. And so, like I said, these were my scraps. Now, some of these scraps aren't going to work. This was some hand spun that was weird. Didn't want to go. This was weird because it's a single ply and really loosely spun. So all these are my other scraps, though, that I'm going to make monster socks with because I think these are bigger scraps. And I was almost done this blanket, and I didn't want to put a lot more of my bigger scraps. So there's a lot of little scraps. I'm probably not gonna, I'm not weaving these ends in. These were magic knotted, whatever that term was. Yeah, that. I left the tails as I crocheted and I just kept going. So I have all these little tails hanging off and you'll see it. So I'm gonna insert video after all of this is done at the end of this episode of me holding it up and you can see, or I'll put it on the bed and take video, whatever. I'll do something. But here it is. It's done. This is yarns from projects from forever. Like, this was my cast on edge, and this yarn was yarn I made into socks. Like, one of my first ever pairs of socks. And I could probably look through these yarns and find projects. I have a cowl made with this. This yarn was a sweater for Hazel when she was a baby. I mean, this is years and years of yarn that I've crocheted. I love it. John already took a nap with it today. But I'm gonna just leave these ends because I don't care. They're not gonna come apart. Maybe eventually, if I'm just sitting and laying with it, I'll tie them off and cut them shorter, like do a surgeon's knot on top of the magic knot and just make them more secure, and then cut them shorter. But I love this so much. I wasn't sure how warm this will be, but I think it's going to be pretty darn warm. There's a lot of yarns in here. It's really exciting. You get further out. And there's yarn that, like, John dyed, so it's really going to be a cool sentimental blanket. I think Hazel is excited to, like, use it, and John was already using it, so this might be the blanket that everybody fights for. We're going to put that over there. All right, I was on my machine this morning because I want to change my 48 stitch cylinder out and put my 64 back on, but I also wanted to make a few more videos so I can do some batch YouTube uploading of stuff, but I made some fingerless gloves. Now, I haven't finished all of them. I only finished one, which is going to be part of the video series for my cranking here on YouTube. And this is DK weight yarn, so I didn't hold it double. This is strictly DK weight on my machine. And these are both yarns that John dyed, and these are going to be for my father-in-law. I did a crochet bind off at the top, so I took them off the machine and left a long tail and did a crochet bind off. I'm not adding like a full-on thumb, it's just going to be the flat fabric that was made on the machine, and it has a hung hem for the bottom. So my father-in-law is a much bigger gentleman. I think he's like 6'4", he has bigger hands, and these are going to fit him probably really well. So I have the second one. I just have to do the crochet bind off for this one and weave in all the ends, obviously. And then I had another 2 balls of scrap DK weight. Actually, the one is worsted. This is worsted. This is DK. John dyed this one for a friend, and I made Point Edwards mitts. This one I dyed as an experiment and made a hat out of. If you've been with me a while, you'll remember. And so I put these together. This one, I held the tension tighter using the heel spring, and these are either going to be for John or for my mom. So I still have to do the crochet bind off on those, and I have 2, and they're going to be done. So I'm going to be marking them as cranked objects and taking pictures and making sure I have all that for my Ravelry and my Instagram pages. So, John, what was the movie we watched? Oh, bless you.
What's that?
What was that movie we just watched with Jonah Hill? Yeah. You People?
Jonah Hill and Jonah Hill movie.
I think it's called You People.
It was the Jonah Hill one.
It was really good. I cried a lot. It's about race, really. It's a lot about racism and race, and
I want to say it's about racism.
wouldn't you think that the majority of the movie was that?
I mean, it was the intricacies of blending together a mixed family.
Okay, blending together a mixed family, black woman and a white man, and the realities they face with their families and everything else. So, I mean, really, okay. Sure. It's about the relationship, it's about all of it. So, but I found it really good. I know I was tearing up. John really liked it. He was, I think, tearing up at some point. So,
No, I was not.
yeah, you were. He's not feeling so hot. He's feeling like I did last week. And thank you for everybody who commented that you hoped I was feeling better. Yeah, so that's where we are. We're gonna chill out the rest of today. And stay tuned for after this for, I'll show the blanket. Maybe lay it out on the bed or something. All right. Until then, knit happy. That's stuck in my head now from the last episode. Just knit. Just craft. Do what you want to do. There you go. Alright. Until the next episode. I'll see you guys then. Bye. Going under my blanket. What are you doing? Are you fighting for the blanket too? Yeah. Alright, well here is my blanket. This is a full/queen bed. Comes down over the edge. Like that. It's pretty awesome. This was the cast on edge. And I have some stripes in here that are really wide. These are socks from Shush the Cat. I have some stripes that are really only like this much of a section. Like, it's fine though. It's my blanket and I love it so very much. It gets real scratchy at the top. Down here I was using a lot more bigger stripes. Alright y'all. Thanks for watching. Bye.